Tom Sullivan, 350.org.
Good morning. I'm Tom Sullivan with 350.org, and for the third year, we're here to talk about the need for UNM to divest its endowment from owning stock in coal, oil, and gas companies. As New Mexico's premier university, UNM has a moral obligation to protect its students' futures from dangerous climate change. Yet its endowment continues to invest in the fossil fuel companies that are driving global warming, and which spend $160 million every year lobbying Washington to prevent the very actions that will avert climate disaster. Today I present our largest petition, now signed by 3,700 students, alumni, and taxpayers, including 186 faculty and 9 state legislators, asking the UNM endowment to immediately freeze any new investment in fossil fuel companies and within 5 years to fully divest from these stocks. Of all the 700 plus divestment campaigns worldwide, UNM has more signatures than any other in the world, more than Oxford, Stanford, Syracuse, or the Church of England. It is time for UNM to divest, because we've now entered the age of consequence for global warming. NASA says that 2014 was the warmest year on record. We've melted 75% of the North Polar ice cap, which has disrupted global weather patterns, causing extreme drought in the western U.S. and extreme winters in the Northeast. California, now in its worst drought in 1,200 years, has just enacted emergency water rationing. And here in New Mexico, drought persists in 60% of the state for the fifth straight year. This is global warming in action. And overwhelmingly, climate scientists say that the primary cause is from burning coal, oil, and gas, which has caused airborne CO2 to reach levels now higher at 400 parts per million than at any time in human history. Even the World Bank tells us that continued reliance on fossil fuels will lead to global food and water scarcity by 2070 or sooner, and a civilization ending in 6 degrees C warming by 2100. There is still time to prevent the most dangerous warming, but it requires urgent action and massive investment to convert our energy economy to solar, wind, and other renewables so that we can keep 80% of the remaining carbon reserves underground. UNM should not be investing in the companies that block this transition and that also fund the merchants of doubt that deny climate science. Energy stocks were a lagging investment even before the price of oil dropped in half, costing the endowment $10 million over the last 7 months. But as the economic damage unfolds from becoming drought, heat waves, and extreme weather, markets will at some point soon conclude that for our survival, these carbon reserves really must be stranded. And then fossil fuel stocks will truly collapse. UNM has a proud record of supporting sustainability, from its curriculum to its use of clean energy. But mocking this is the endowment which invests in the companies whose business plan, fully executed, will destroy the climate. For the future of its students, for the financial health of its endowment, and for its own integrity as an educational institution, UNM must divest. Thank you.
Tom, yes. First of all, thank you for staying for your time. The other thing is, we wanted to get on the agenda, and perhaps this is enough inspiration for us to either get you on the agenda or do something specific where we'd like to hear a good discussion.
I'd very much like to do that.
So I'm going to direct President Frank to look into that, and he and I will probably be in touch for some further discussion.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
All right. Next is Senator Jerry Pino.
Good morning, everyone, and President Frank, Regents, thank you for giving us a chance to speak. I too want to address the issue of divesting. When I first heard that idea, it seemed like, oh, it's not going to do much. It's certainly not going to hurt the coal companies. And would it hurt the university somehow? And does it make much sense to shoot yourself in the foot that way? The more I've looked into it, however, it becomes clear that it would not in any way hurt the university financially. I think as you explored, and I'm really glad to hear that suggestion you just made, Mr. Chairman, Mr. President, to go ahead and explore this fully. I'm delighted to hear that, because I think as you explore it more, you'll find out that in fact it is not a particularly productive investment for the university to make in terms of its own resources. But beyond that, it really would be a statement, a clear statement, that this research university, this real academic pillar of our state, recognizes the hard scientific facts and is not blind to what our head in the sand approach nationally has been in the past, which is to pretend like, well, there's still debate over this issue. There really isn't any longer. And this would be a recognition of that. It would place the university among those academic leaders internationally that have recognized that it's time to make that kind of a statement. And it would be time to begin fully endorsing the science behind the climate change movement. So I sincerely hope that the discussion you have will lead to investing, and I would encourage you to do that. Thank you for giving us a chance to speak.
Thank you, Senator. Jack, first of all, I think what needs to be done is need to go to financial facilities, put on the agenda financial facilities, put on the next agenda where we can discuss it in a reasonable way. We give an opportunity to get all the information that we're talking about, effects and everything else. And so we do have that committee, and I would like to see hear all of the presentations potentially there, but get it on the agenda, financial facilities, as quick as we possibly can. Senator, would that be helpful to you?
Well, I think that would be a great step, and hopefully a full discussion by the board.
Right. The only thing I would say, Jamie, is I'm not sure I want to limit it just to F&F, because it's not just a financial thing. There's also some scientific issues that need some spirited debate.
Well, I didn't want to eliminate, Mr. Chairman, you're exactly right. Everybody needs to know what we're talking about. And I think that there's a lot of questions that have to be answered to do it, and that would be the best. There's so many questions to do that, but if we go through the committee structure, I think that's the way it should be.
Mr. President.
I want to remind the Regents that when this came before you last year, you delegated this to the foundation because this is a foundation issue. The foundation met last January past, a few months ago, and they've created a subcommittee to look at the issue of. They spent about an hour discussing it, and they gave it a very serious think through, and they recognize that the issue has a significant credence. And one of the issues they are looking at is this whole issue of both the issue of divestment of petroleum products and divestment in general, and how they separate the two. So if we divest from petroleum, how do we separate divestment from other issues? And they're wrestling with how to separate those two right now. And they are, that subcommittee is working on that, intends to come back to the full foundation with an answer on that in the very near future. And then they will come back, the foundation will come back and make a report to the Regents on that. So I would encourage you to let your foundation come back to the Regents and give you a report before you come to the Regents start working on it.
Well, Mr. President, yes, I think that's good, but I still direct that the foundation come back to financial facilities and go through the normal process to do so, and that's, I think, the way to do it. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Next is
UNM!